All right, Commanders fans, let's talk about the future of this franchise. Because once again, Washington is standing at a crossroads. But before we dive in, do me a favor right now. Hit that like button. This team is trying to improve every single season, searching for the right formula to bring winning football back to the DMV. And your support helps this channel keep delivering real, honest coverage. Now let's get into what could define the Commanders' next era. Just a quick reminder, Commanders fans, if you're looking for official Commanders gear, whether it's a Terry McLaurin jersey, cold weather hoodies, hats, or new sideline pieces, the link to the official Fanatic store is in the description and comment. They update it daily with new releases, and grabbing your gear through that link also supports the channel. The 2025 season was not supposed to look like this. After reaching the NFC Championship game in 2024, there was real belief that Washington was finally building something sustainable. Jayden Daniels looked like a franchise quarterback. The culture under Dan Quinn appeared strong. The roster felt competitive. Then everything unraveled. Injuries piled up, preseason distractions never fully disappeared. The offense lost its identity. The defense regressed. And by the end of the year, the Commanders were staring at a 5-12 record and another long offseason. Change was inevitable. But even knowing that, one move still shocked many around the league and inside the fan base: the firing of offensive coordinator Cliff Kingsbury. Cliff Kingsbury arrived with big expectations. In 2024, the offense was electric. Jayden Daniels won Offensive Rookie of the Year. Washington finished near the top of the league in both points and yards. Everything seemed to be clicking. But in 2025, the cracks became impossible to ignore. Yes, Daniels was injured and limited to just 7 games. Yes, that mattered. But even when the quarterback was healthy, the offense often felt predictable. Adjustments came too late, late-game execution disappeared, and when defenses adapted, Washington didn't counter. So when the Commanders parted ways with Kingsbury, the message was clear: this franchise is no longer satisfied with good enough. The next offensive coordinator won't just be another hire. He must be the right hire, the perfect fit for Jayden Daniels, the architect of a system that can grow with this roster for years. And one name is already turning heads. The most intriguing candidate being floated around Ashburn right now, Mike McDaniel. Yes, that Mike McDaniel, the innovative offensive mind who rose through the NFL ranks and most recently served as head coach of the Miami Dolphins. After being let go in Miami, McDaniel is back on the market, and Washington suddenly makes a lot of sense. There's history here. McDaniel actually began a major chapter of his career in Washington, serving as an offensive assistant and wide receivers coach between 2011 and 2013. He later found his true identity with the San Francisco 49ers under Kyle Shanahan, becoming one of the league's most respected run game designers and offensive strategists. Now, the idea of a reunion is gaining momentum, and honestly, Commanders fans, this might be exactly what this offense needs. Let's talk about what really matters: Jayden Daniels. Everything Washington does from this point forward must revolve around maximizing his potential. Kingsbury had his moments, but his system often relied on timing, execution, and everything clicking perfectly. When it worked, it was explosive. When it didn't, the floor dropped out. McDaniel is different. He doesn't just create highlight plays, he builds structure. His offenses are designed to raise the floor while still allowing for explosive upside. Here's what McDaniel brings that could transform this team. 1. Elite run game design. McDaniel is widely considered one of the best run game architects in the NFL. His wide zone concepts, misdirection, and ability to stress defenses horizontally would unlock Washington's backfield. Running backs wouldn't just be ball carriers, they'd be weapons in space, catching out of the backfield, forcing linebackers into impossible matchups. That kind of run game does more than gain yards. It controls tempo, it protects a young quarterback, and it forces defenses to respect every look. 2. A quarterback-friendly passing system.
McDaniel's offense isn't built on pure drop-back passing and hero ball. Instead, it thrives on motion to reveal coverages, play action that mirrors run concepts, quick throws designed for yards after catch, layered route combinations that simplify reads. For a quarterback like Jaden Daniels, athletic, creative, but still developing, this is ideal. It allows him to play fast without forcing him into risky situations. It reduces hits. It keeps the offense on schedule. 3. Constant adjustments. One of the biggest criticisms of Kingsbury was his lack of late-game and late-season adaptation. McDaniel is the opposite. His game plans evolve week to week. He adjusts based on opponent tendencies. He doesn't stubbornly stick to one approach. That adaptability could be the difference between close losses and sustainable winning. Simply put, McDaniel raises the baseline of the offense while still creating explosive potential. This is not about disrespecting what Kingsbury did in 2024. That season was special, but what McDaniel offers is long-term stability. Kingsbury's offense often felt like it depended on perfect execution. McDaniel's system is designed to function even when conditions aren't ideal, when injuries hit, when protection breaks down, when the quarterback isn't 100%. That's how championship-caliber offenses are built. For a franchise desperate to protect its young quarterback and develop him into a perennial Pro Bowl player, this isn't just a good idea, it may be the best one available. Of course, Washington won't be alone in this pursuit. Teams with open offensive coordinator positions and playoff-ready rosters are also circling McDaniel. The Detroit Lions and Tampa Bay Buccaneers are two of the most notable. Both are in win-now mode, both offer attractive situations, and both could pitch McDaniel on immediate success. So why would he choose Washington? Because here, he wouldn't just be another coordinator, he would be the architect of a young franchise quarterback's future. He would have influence, vision, and the opportunity to build something from the ground up. That's powerful. While the coaching staff is undergoing changes, the roster is also being reshaped, and one veteran situation may have just made a tough call much easier. Cornerback Marshawn Lattimore was arrested in Northeast Ohio on charges of carrying a concealed weapon. The team has acknowledged the situation and is investigating further, declining to comment publicly. This development comes at a critical moment. Lattimore was already on the roster bubble. Acquired in 2024 to stabilize a struggling secondary, he never fully lived up to expectations in Washington. Injuries limited him to just 2 games in 2024, and in 2025, while he was solid early, a torn ACL in Week 9 ended his season. Over 10 games with the Commanders, his production included 31 tackles, 7 passes defended, 1 interception, 1 fumble recovery. Not bad, but far from the Pro Bowl caliber corner he once was in New Orleans.
Now, with the arrest and his recovery from a serious knee injury, the writing may be on the wall. Here's why this matters financially. Releasing Lattimore would save the Commanders nearly $19 million in cap space with no dead money. That is massive. Those funds could be redirected toward rebuilding the secondary with younger, healthier talent, adding offensive weapons to support Jaden Daniels, investing in the trenches on both sides of the ball. For a team with one of the highest numbers of pending free agents and a high draft pick in 2026, flexibility is everything. Lattimore's situation, while unfortunate, may accelerate a decision that the front office was already leaning toward. Commanders fans, what you are witnessing right now is not just an offseason, it's a reset. The firing of Cliff Kingsbury, the potential pursuit of Mike McDaniel, the reshaping of the secondary, the financial flexibility being created through roster decisions. This organization is trying to correct course after a season that exposed its weaknesses. But this is also an opportunity. With the right offensive coordinator, Jaden Daniels can take the next step. With smarter roster construction, the defense can be rebuilt. And with alignment between the front office and coaching staff, Washington can finally escape the cycle of inconsistency that has haunted this franchise for decades. The Washington Commanders are officially in reset mode. After a brutal 5-12 season, head coach Dan Quinn made the only moves left on the board. Both coordinators are gone.
Defensive coordinator Joe Witt Jr. was dismissed. Offensive coordinator Cliff Kingsbury was shown the door. And now Washington begins a complete overhaul of its coaching staff. This is not a cosmetic change. This is a statement. The Commanders are chasing stability, structure, and long-term development, especially for their most important asset, Jayden Daniels. The front office believes that to move forward, they had to break from what clearly wasn't working in 2025. But while Washington is searching for new leadership on offense, the man they just let go is already attracting attention around the league, and fast. We all knew it wouldn't take long. Despite the disappointing season in Washington, Cliff Kingsbury remains one of the most recognizable offensive minds in football. He has head coaching experience, he has a reputation for quarterback development, and he's one of the few offensive-oriented candidates available in a coaching cycle that is heavy on defensive names. Now it's official. Kingsbury has landed his first 2 head coaching interviews. Those interviews with the Tennessee Titans and the Baltimore Ravens. Let that sink in for a moment. Just weeks after being dismissed by the Commanders, Kingsbury is already being considered for the top job elsewhere. That alone tells you something. Around the league, his value is still very real. But here's where the story gets interesting for Washington fans. The Commanders' opponents for the 2026 season are already set, and yes, Washington is scheduled to travel to Nashville to face the Tennessee Titans. So if Kingsbury lands that Titans job, his first season as a head coach could feature a matchup against the very organization that just fired him. That's not just another game on the calendar, that's personal. That's a coach returning to face the franchise that moved on from him, and you better believe the narrative would be everywhere. Let's be honest, this was not your typical coaching split. You don't often see a coach get fired from a struggling team and immediately become a top candidate for head coaching vacancies. Usually, when a coach is truly at fault, the market is quiet. Not in this case. There have been reports of a disconnect between Kingsbury and either head coach Dan Quinn or general manager Adam Peters. Something wasn't aligned behind closed doors. The relationship fractured, and once that happens in an NFL building, it's almost impossible to repair. But was Kingsbury really the root of the Commanders' problems? Many inside the organization would quietly admit, no. The offense struggled, yes, but the real issues went deeper. From the very beginning, Kingsbury was fighting uphill. Start in the offseason. Washington's top receiver, Terry McLaurin, was absent throughout the entire offseason program due to a contract holdout. Kingsbury spoke openly about how difficult it was to install an offense without your number 1 target on the field. Timing, chemistry, and rhythm were compromised before the season even began. Then came the injuries. Jayden Daniels, who was the engine of everything Washington wanted to build, was limited to just 7 games. The offensive line shuffled constantly. Skill players missed time. Continuity never existed. Yet, despite all of that, the offense was not the biggest weakness on the team. The defense collapsed. Games got out of hand. The margin for error disappeared. And when a season spirals like that, someone always has to take the fall. This time, it was Kingsbury. If Kingsbury does land one of these head coaching jobs, especially in Tennessee, you can already feel the edge that game would carry. This would not be just another matchup. This would be a coach trying to prove he wasn't the problem.
Especially when the circumstances, injuries, roster instability, internal disagreements, suggest the situation was more complicated than wins and losses. So if his path crosses Washington's again, don't expect him to downplay it. He'll remember. Picture it. Week X of the 2026 season, the Commanders walk into Nashville. On the opposite sideline stands Cliff Kingsbury, now wearing Titans colors, headset on, eyes locked across the field. The storyline writes itself. Did Washington make the right call? Is Kingsbury better off without the Commanders? Can the new staff outcoach the old one? Every play would carry extra meaning for the players, for the coaches, for the fans. This is the kind of drama the NFL thrives on.
The Commanders do not just need a new offensive coordinator. They need the right one. Someone who can protect their franchise quarterback, build a sustainable offensive identity, and adapt when adversity hits, and elevate the entire unit beyond raw talent. Mike McDaniel checks every one of those boxes. At the same time, tough roster decisions, like the likely departure of Marshawn Lattimore, signal that this front office is serious about reshaping the team. Now it's on leadership to get it right. Because if they do, the disappointment of 2025 could become the foundation for something much bigger. And now, I want to hear from you. Do you believe Mike McDaniel is the perfect fit for Jayden Daniels? Would you make him the top priority this offseason? And how do you feel about the likely release of Marshawn Lattimore? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk about it. Official Washington Commanders gear, fresh and new drops, and exclusive items all in the link below. Check it out. And if you want more in-depth Commanders coverage all off-season long, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Your support means everything as we follow every move this franchise makes. HTTC.